Welcome to the School of Brujas podcast, a podcast for learning, self development, self care, spirituality, and wellness. I'm Danny.
And this is Maria. And for today, happy Earth Day. Today is the 22nd of April, and we are recording this podcast and to honor the earth. So we're going to be talking about all the wonderful gifts that Mother Earth, Pachamama, is bringing for us because she's a mother. So, like a mom likes to take care of her children and gives us abundance and gives us gifts every day, all the time. And we want to take some time to honor those gifts and talk about what is it that we love that Mother Earth gifts us into our daily lives. And we were going to be sharing also some practices that we can do to honor back and give back to the mother and say, like, mom, you give us so much. Thank you for all that you give us, but this is what we can do to take care of you and keep you whole and beautiful and bountiful as you are. So the first item on my list is essential oils. I'm gonna open up this topic because for the last couple days I was sharing with Daniela prior to recording that I had a couple of days that were a little bit dark. And they were dark because I
Mm-hmm.
was spending too much time in social media, reading to what people were posting, and just being too immersed and taking some of those harsh comments too personal. And I was letting those comments affect me. And it's a process that we all can relate to because we are on in different levels in the same process together, even though we're separated, even though we're isolated. And especially now that we are probably into a whole month of being in your house, we're starting to experience some of that cabin fever. And I was starting to feel it, and I was getting very angry and very frustrated. And that really brought me into my toolbox to search and to find the things that I can do to take care of myself. Not that I don't do things to take care of myself already, but it just felt that I needed more. Like, mother, I need help. Pachamama, what is it that I can do to ground? And I needed to ground even more because I had all of those emotions that were all over my space that felt like I was going to explode. And in the process, I realized that I stopped doing something that I really enjoy, that was really good for my nervous system and to keep me calm and zen and center. And that is the practice of body oiling. In the practice of body oiling, you use the oils that are infused with herbs and flowers, and you use that oil to rub your body and really take some time to absorb the benefits of the herbs, the benefits of the oils, and the benefits of massage because you're taking the time to touch your bodies, your arms, and really allowing your bodies to soak up all of that richness that the oils have to offer, that the plant has to offer, that the earth has to offer. So I decided to not do the oiling how I used to prepare my own infusion with the plants themselves and the flowers themselves because I didn't have them available to me. What I did have available was essential oils, and I said, well, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it easy so that I can commit to it for the next couple of weeks of quarantine, social distancing, or just however you want to call it. So I set up everything on the counter and I put basically geranium, lavender, and Palo Santo. And I picked these oils and because it's personal choice, it's personal preference, and it's what I was called to. And that is my relationship to the oils and all the things that I do in my life is like, okay, do I like you? Do I feel like I have a connection with you? And if that is the case, I want you closer. So geranium for me, it's really working with the heart space. And I felt a lot of heaviness in my heart, all the emotions and all the sadness and almost grief. Grief because I feel like I'm so powerless and unable to be and do the things I would like to do, be around the people that I want to be around. So what I wanted to, when I did use the geranium, was exactly to use that space of healing the heart Lavender I picked because it's calming. And for the last couple of days, I was just like very stressed and anxious. So lavender just like reminded me of staying center and stay present for myself. And my last ingredient on my blend was Palo Santo because it's clearing my field of all the craziness that's going on in the world, and reminding me to filter the comments from people out there, to filter so I can take messages just for my highest good, even if it is harsh comments that sometimes come from family members that may think that you're a little bit out there because you do things differently and you're connected with the earth and your practices are different. And Mother Earth and its beautiful gifts to us. This is one of my favorites, definitely body oiling. And after I took my shower, and that's how I do it, I shower first and then do the oils, wait a minute or two to allow the oils to soak into my body, and then I get dressed. I felt a lot calmer. And I like that. And I said, like, oh my God, why in the world I stopped doing this? And it's like anything, we stop doing certain things, but right now we don't really have the time to reconnect with those things. And I'm happy I did that with body oiling. Daniela, do you have anything?
Yeah, I miss doing that. Motina is actually the one who introduced me to body oiling. It's an Ayurveda teaching that they do pretty much every single day. But I think they do the dry brushing first, then body oil, and then they take a shower. But obviously, you can do it however you want. Um, and I always found that I liked it better after I showered too. So it is very grounding and it is soothing. So that's something that if you haven't tried before would be really nice to almost give you like a spa kind of massage feeling, and I'm sure it calmed you down a lot. But I can relate to what you're saying about the stress and the cabin fever, because I think probably all of us are going through that right now, and obviously I am as well. um it can be tough, but what I like to do with essential oils is not really that complicated, that anybody can't just like do it right off the bat, which is my obsession is lavender oil. It's not everybody likes it though. I know my old boss used to say that it smelled like an old lady, which I disagree. But she hated
Yeah.
lavender.
What's up with that
Yeah.
boss?
I don't know. She hated it though. But I love it. If I could take a bath in it, I would. So today, since it's Earth Day, I decided I wanted to do something special. And I got out my real rose oil, which, if you know anything about rose oil, it costs
It's
hundreds, thousands
pricey.
of dollars. It's
Mm-hmm.
very expensive. So last year, I had told that to Ryan and he actually got me rose oil. But then when we got it in the mail, it was so funny because it's like literally the size of my nail. Like it's such a tiny little bottle, and it was like $100. And it's literally an inch how big that thing is. It's tiny. I should take a picture and show it to you. So
Oh,
I
it's so
only use it
cute.
a little bit. Yeah, I only use it sometimes, but since I wanted to kind of, I haven't gone anywhere in a long time, so I don't really dress up to even go to the grocery store. So today I was like, let me feel like pretty. So I put coconut oil in my hair and let it down because it's usually in a braid. And I did my
Mm-hmm.
makeup, and then I put essential oils all over my face, lavender and rose. And I just wanted to pay tribute to the beauty of the earth today, because it's really easy to,
Mm.
just ignore all the beauty that's all over and everywhere around us. And right
Mm-hmm.
now is such a beautiful time to go outside because all the flowers are blooming and my front yard is covered in roses. So I kind of wanted to look like, you know, obviously I can't compare myself to a rose, but I wanted to have that same kind of energy where I can appreciate what I look like for a day, even though that's not usual. So I did that for myself, and I've also been spending a lot of more time outside and planting seeds all over the place. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that was completely new and different was I Googled if this was possible, even though obviously I'm sure somebody who knows a lot about gardening would think I'm really silly right now, but I plucked, the little white, furry, cotton ball looking flowers that are of the dandelion. They look, like you blow them in the
Yes.
air and all the seeds scatter.
Yeah. Make a
So
wish.
yeah. So instead of blowing them into the wind, I picked them up and then I planted them into like little garden pods that I have in
Mm-hmm.
my house. And I saved a bunch of the seeds into a little plastic bag. So that way I have dandelions that aren't going to be sprayed with pesticide or anything like that. So I'm going to do this experiment to see if I can grow dandelion from the wild seeds that I found in a field yesterday. So that is something that if
Beautiful.
everyone if everybody could just get out into nature and just kind of connect with the earth, it does bring you a lot of peace and it is rewarding as well because you're doing something kind of it almost like when you're a child and you feel like that excitement, but this is for something that is so how do you explain it? It's about nature. It's about like, I consider this earth my mother. Obviously, I wouldn't be here. I if it wasn't for this earth, like I came from this earth. So I know not in the sense spiritually, but physically, I'm from this earth. So I think just getting your feet out into the ground or putting your hands in dirt that can be so beneficial right now, especially if you're like feeling super freaked
Mm-hmm.
out about everything that's going on. There's like nothing more grounding than to just play with some dirt or like smell the grass after rain. That's like one of the best smells on the
Mm-hmm.
planet. So yeah, that's been like basically my practice every day is going outside barefoot, watering my plants because now my seeds are sprouting up and they're getting big, and it's really exciting. And I
Yeah.
uh, hope more people will like try to plant their own things, even if you live like in a city in an apartment building. You can always grow something as long as you have a window and there's some sunlight. You can grow stuff. So that is what I've been experimenting with lately.
That is awesome. I like planting flowers. The flowers are my thing. I just love the different colors, different shapes. I like to see
Mm-hmm.
the bees and the butterflies and all these little things flying around. We had a visitor the other day. We had a little um, a little bird that was just like very close to the window, and it was like so tiny and happy, and just like hearing the birds and hearing nature, hearing the wind, hearing all of that is just like so soothing. But a lot of people don't have that gift of
Oh
nature in their
yeah.
lives. And yes, you can definitely go to your grocery store, which is basically the one place that everybody's going to shop anymore, and find rosemary. Rosemary is like my
Oh.
favorite herb in the whole planet, and it's already grown, and it's
Hmm.
$3.50, I think. And you can get that, and you can just like squeeze a little bit of the leaves and just get that smell. And it's so clearing for the mind. It's so good for like if you're studying because you're at home, or if you're like a lot of time in the computer doing computer work from one conference call after the other. It's a beautiful smell if you like it, of course. And I can't have enough of it, and I already have them. I have a few of them in my garden right now. But definitely, rosemary is one of my favorites. You can still find lavenders too, so that you can invest that way and have your mini garden in your window. And most grocery stores have them. I'm happy and blessed that we do, so that you can find them. I think they were like three for $10 or four for $10. So really, depending on the size of them,
Mm-hmm.
and you can definitely explore with that, and it's a wonderful thing. But the other day,
Nice.
that was also in the grocery store shopping. I went around into the tea section and I found this wonderful dandelion tea with probiotics. So I said, I need that, because dandelion, if anybody ever had it, is bitter, definitely bitter.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that tastes bitter is good for your liver. And if you need
Very good.
any, if you're like me, if you are like me, and sometimes when you're reading something and people just trigger you and get you pissed off, all that fire energy, you definitely want to
Hmm.
spend some time trying to bring some cooling into your liver. And dandelion is a wonderful herb to have. So whether you go Daniela's route and you start to seed, or if you have them around like we do, we have them around here. They grow like weeds, so they're accessible. Or just easy enough,
Hmm.
go to the grocery store and find your dandelion tea, and they have probiotics, so that you're really working on your immune system. Anything that's helping your liver and digestion, because you have those probiotics to like boost your immune system. It's a really good too. So check that out. Um, my next
Yeah,
one
and
is
don't
going to
kill
be
them.
crystals,
Don't kill
and
them. Don't
crystals
kill
come
the
from the
dandelions.
earth. Yep. I know. I had a conversation with John here, and he just picks them out and he keeps saying they're weeds, they're weeds. But now I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put all the weeds together in one pot and make it my dandelion garden. So that's my next project. So I'll let
Yay!
you know how that
Awesome.
goes. Um, yeah. Crystals are my next favorite in the list. And I have to say that because I'm going through all the experience of all these range of emotions, right? From sadness, from anger, from grief, from loneliness, from separation. And I need something to ground me. And it's not like I am not doing anything to take care of myself. I go outside, I play with the dogs, I do yoga, I meditate, but I still feel like I need extras because I feel trapped, and the cabin fever is definitely my space because I feel like I don't have the same freedoms as before, that I will go to a yoga class or I will go to take the dogs for a walk. There is very limited the stuff that you can do right now, and definitely just like explore more, and just being out there or go to a store or go to meet up with your friends, and just being out and being social, it's something that's being removed. It's not an option right now, so you feel like it's missing from your life. And there's stones that were around me for the past month and a half almost. It's black tourmaline, because that it's helping me remove all those dark feelings, heavy emotions that are in my space. So I typically carry one on, my necklace. I have a pendant and selenite. From time to time, I do the meditations with selenite, just bringing more light into my space. Really more light, more patience, more tolerance, more compassion, more clear mind, and more connection with my spirit guide. So that's why selenite, it's like a really wonderful best friend, and you don't have to worry about recharging it or clearing it because it's pure light. It's selenite is one of those magical stones that everybody should have. And my next one, it's pink quartz. Because of all the emotions that I'm experiencing in my heart center, pink quartz is something that I'm definitely keeping near my bed. Sometimes I fall asleep holding a pink quartz stone because I feel like I need more self-care, self-love, and compassion for myself, because I think I just have too many expectations, and I feel like I'm very frustrated because I can't work, I can't touch people, I can't do anything. So it's just really affecting me, and pink quartz is just a reminder to take care of myself now. It's just really taking the time for me and not worry about the future and stay present. That's the message that stones really bring back to me, is to stay in the present moment.
Hmm. And they do. They bring you back, I think. I'm really lucky that even though I don't have any of my crystals with me because they're in storage since I moved from California to North Carolina, I do have a couple of bracelets with me. And my one bracelet is shungite mixed with moonstone. And the shungite is, I don't know what I would do without it, to be honest, because I can sometimes become like just somebody who does not get off their phone, just constantly reading on my phone and seeing what's going on with everything in the world. And, after a few minutes, sometimes it's been an hour, maybe 2 hours, and I'm on my phone. I can feel it after, I don't know. I don't know how long it takes, but I can feel my hands and they feel like they're in pain. And it's not good because I know that that cell phone is not healthy to be holding for so long. It is emitting radiation. It has a
Mm-hmm.
magnetic frequency so that it's emitting. So I take my bracelet and then I start to hold it, and I can feel that it starts to make my hand feel better. But it's also reminding me to just, not pay attention to my phone so much, because obviously there's a consequence to everything we do. And my body just responds really
Mm-hmm.
quickly to the consequence, which is a big imbalance. I shouldn't be living on my phone right now. I should be grounded. And so that bracelet helps to ground
Mm-hmm.
me back into the present moment, even though I don't know that it's obviously you can't prove that it does anything for EMFs, but because I have associated it with the fact that it does help against EMFs, I think somehow my brain interprets that as it does. So I find it very, very beneficial. And I'm very, very grateful that shungite exists, because it's the one stone I've noticed that has made a bigger, I don't know how to explain it, but it's made a bigger impact than any other crystal that I've ever had before, which is crazy because I've had so
Yeah,
many.
they're wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, shungite. I like that it's black, and I like that it's a color of protection. And in the Inca tradition, actually, black is the color of purity. It's the color of
Oh.
purity because it never changes. So I said, okay, well, we typically think of white purity, right? If you're pure, you gotta be white. But
Mm-hmm.
for the Incas, the color was black. And it had to be because it didn't change. So it's like reminding me when I hear you talk about shungite is that you have to be authentic, your true self, no matter what, especially now. So it's a good reminder, even though sometimes we may say or do things that are different. And it's hard for us empaths to receive criticism from our families or our friends, and we take it personal. That is a stone that definitely it's a reminder to be your true authentic self. So kudos to you for bringing up shungite. Yay, it's a wonderful stone. Yeah.
Yeah.
My next
Well.
my next topic, it's something that we can probably go back and forward because it's something we did together. It's our experience with
Mm-hmm.
plant medicine. And we had a group, we had a friend where we were able to experience some of these sacred gifts that Mother Earth gave us. And one of them is ayahuasca. And I have to say that we were really lucky to find a circle of friends that honor the medicine as it is. It's medicine. For the circles that we were invited, we went through interviews, we were given dietary protocols to follow, and we were really from the beginning. The whole experience of our ayahuasca ceremony was from the most professional to the most honorable experience because it wasn't
Yeah.
something like, oh, you want to try ayahuasca? It's a cool thing to do, man. It was definitely
Yeah.
nothing like that. It was
No, not at
presented to
all.
us as the most sacred of things that we could do in our lifetime. And I honor that. I was really blessed to have somebody in my life that was able to bring all of these gifts here. And I'm from Peru, so ayahuasca is something that we know about, that we do it. However, it was always the fear of finding the right shaman. From the day one, I remember even in Peru when I wanted to try it, they said like, "Well, you have to find the right person to do it because otherwise, it can be a bad trip, and you really don't want to
Mm-hmm.
do that." And there's a lot of fear into the space when it came to that. So when I was introduced to this friend who passed away, she was very, very respectful. And I loved her approach to the medicine and how she presented it, and how, it wasn't just like, oh, you want to do it? Okay, it's $500. Here, pay me, and it's done. It was nothing like that. It was like, okay, let's have a phone call. It's going to be an interview, find out, more about your medical history, tell you about the medicine, what it does, what to expect. And it was really a wonderful experience. It was a beautiful circle around the fire that we all sat. overnight, and it was really a really profound experience for me, because we were able to receive this gift from the earth. And one more thing about ayahuasca, I just wanted to share this beautiful story that I heard from my circle, my friends in this circle of plant medicine. And it's basically that we had an Inca back in the jungle that was taking care of a lot of people, healing everybody, healing all the time. And one day he decided to leave. He said, like, okay, I'm tired now, I have to go back. And the people got really upset because all of a sudden he just picked up and left. And this particular healer came back in dreams. He came back in dreams with people and showed the people what plants they needed to create ayahuasca, to make this beautiful potion to heal themselves. In dreams, people will recall that the healer would share with them that, yes, it was time for me to leave, but I've never left you. I'm giving you my gift. This is the plants that you can use to create ayahuasca, and it's a way to reconnect and a way to remember who you are and heal yourself. And that was it. So it was like such a beautiful story to say how ayahuasca came about, but it really remind me of all of the gifts that nature has to give to us. So talking about Earth Day, it's really bringing up ayahuasca to me. It's like the number one medicine, and I was happy and very blessed to have met people that honor ayahuasca for what it is and treat it as medicine and not something recreational or something cool to do because everybody else is doing it. So
Yeah.
thank you. And thank you, Daniela, for sharing that adventure with me.
Yeah, thank you. I wouldn't have been able to do any of that if it wasn't for you, because you already knew the people who ran the ayahuasca ceremony. And I'm so grateful that I was able to attend and be a part of that whole ritual, because for me, the one word that sticks out in my head about the whole experience was that it was extremely humbling. And you know what I mean by that. um
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for me it started off pretty rough from the get-go, because I decided to do combo before ayahuasca. And the combo is basically the poison on a tree frog that gets burned into your skin. And they do as many dots, as you can handle, and they start off with 3. And I remember when you got your combo treatment, you sat there and your face flushed a bit red, but you just kind of, it seemed like
Mm-hmm.
it to me, when I was looking at you, it seemed like it came into your body, and you kind of just absorbed it, and you kind of just sat with it, and you smiled at the end, and you were kind of smiling the whole time, and you were just like feeling the medicine. And I was like, wow. And then our next friend went, and she did the same exact thing as you, 3 little burn marks with the combo. And she started to react, with nausea. And hers wasn't exactly like yours, but it wasn't either, it wasn't very traumatic either. It was just kind of a bit of, upset stomach, and it may be 5 minutes, 10 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? Like that
Yeah,
much
it's
long?
short, about 10. Yeah.
10 minutes. Yeah. I think yours was even shorter. Yours was like less than 10 minutes. And I was just like amazed. And of course, I'd go last, which thank God I went last, because if I hadn't, I don't know that you or a friend would have done that, which probably would have made you think twice, because
Yeah.
my face got so swollen. I actually looked like a frog. And I guess that's supposed to happen to some people, but the medicine for me went straight to my stomach, which I can't believe to this day that it went straight to my stomach, because usually I think they say it goes down to your lower body or to your head. And to me, it shot straight into my stomach, which has been a huge issue for me my whole entire life. So I have battled with digestion issues since I was born, like not even exaggerating. I was hospitalized at 6 months old because I hadn't used the bathroom as a baby and got a fever. So my whole life was filled with problems with my stomach. And before we did combo, I had some really really bad issues, and I lost a bunch of weight during our time in classes because we met at massage school. But anyway, let me not digress. The point of the story was that I was on my, hands and knees in excruciating pain, having the worst nausea and vomiting and couldn't breathe. And in my mind, I knew that if I couldn't calm myself enough to just maintain a breathing structure, like if I
Mm-hmm.
hadn't practiced pranayama before that happened to me, I might have been one of those people who freaks out and dies because my throat was swollen and it was closing in on me and it was really hard to breathe. My whole face was swollen. And so that was like one of the scariest experiences, but it was also meant to happen. And I I can't explain how much that changed my life because there's really no words to describe it, because even talking about it now, it kind of brings up things that I hadn't thought about before. And it was so
Mm-hmm.
beneficial to my digestion. I could feel that having that experience did help me as a real medicine. But to go through that really humbled me because I had to be so vulnerable and had to be in such a really dark space while everybody in the room was with me. And I had to rely on everybody else to help me get through it. So that was really a beautiful gift that I would have never experienced had I not met you. And that whole weekend of doing the ayahuasca probably is
Mm-hmm.
what changed the path of my life, because after that, I met Ryan not too long after that. And
Yeah.
he did ayahuasca.
Mm-hmm.
He had done ayahuasca around the same time as me. And we hadn't met each
Oh,
other yet.
wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So he always says that he thinks that the ayahuasca brought us together. Obviously, we can't prove that, but it did change.
Yeah.
Yeah, it changes you on a really deep level. But if you're going to treat it as something that you just do because it's trendy or because you heard about it on Vice News or whatever the hell people listen to, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that it would have the same effect. And
No.
yeah,
No.
yeah, I'm very grateful that we got to experience it the way that we did.
Yes, it was a beautiful experience. And I remember, a circle of us around you, giving you Reiki and helping you come back from your
Hmm.
experience with Cambo. And I remember you sharing and raving about how good it was for you, how well your body received and this medicine and the medicine's wisdom to know exactly where your body needed it most. You were having all those
Hmm.
issues with your stomach and it went right there. You didn't like hesitate or anything. It went boom. And it was just a really beautiful experience to witness. For everybody around you, it's like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on because you had like definitely the scariest experience from all of us. For me, it was different. I just felt like my heart was expanding. Just felt, you feel all that warmth coming into your face, and you start to get your blood pressure really go up. You hear your ears ring, and then I just felt like my heart was expanding like so big, and it was like such a beautiful experience. Just like I could stay there for days, but the experience doesn't last more than 10 minutes. For me, it was even shorter, but it was like, oh my God, I feel like I love the world. I love everybody right now. And that's where I needed it. I needed my heart to expand because, of past experiences and disappointments and grief that I was carrying there. For me, it went where I needed it. I needed it in my heart. So it's just the wisdom of this medicine that we do have it, and it's such a beautiful gift that Mother Earth gives us. And I really do honor all the people out there that are hosting these ceremonies and treating the plant medicine as such, as medicine. You know, taking their time to
Yeah.
interview people, taking their time to explain, taking their time to make you feel safe and having the support. Because throughout the ayahuasca circle, we had helpers, we had people out there helping us through the process. And it's really, like you said, such a humbling experience because I was on my knees. I remember that moment like so vividly because I was on my knees and I'm like feeling like, oh my God, I had to come to my knees. I had to humble myself to this point, to feeling how I feel right now, not even liking my own body, to remember who I am. And I am a server of the earth. And that's where you come from. And you come to that realization. And the whole process, it's so beautiful. You know, you have the music keeping you throughout the night, keeping you into that safe space. It's a beautiful container. The
Hmm.
fire was such a beautiful thing to witness as well. All the people gather around the fire and the sky because we had it in an open space where you can like look at the stars, look at the moon, and it was just magical. Such a wonderful experience that it's not for everybody. Definitely not for everybody because
No.
it really depends of like why are you doing things? Are you doing it because it's cool, or are you doing it because you're here, Daniela and I say that it's, you know, it's a beautiful experience, or is it because you need medicine, that you know something deep within yourself is asking for help? So
Yes.
really, you know, I really want to like remind people of that and to take time to process all of that and take an honor. You honor the earth as you approach the gifts that we receive from the earth. And I think that's where we are reminded that this is how we honor the earth. The earth is so bountiful and given. You know, we get the food on our tables, we get all these beautiful plants, we have these crystals, we have water, we have wind, we have all of the seasons to remind us of our cyclical processes in life. And it really all it asks from us in return is to honor it. If you're taking something, respect what you're taking, honor it, honor the medicine, honor your crystals, honor what you have, and treat it as such. You know, and just to take a moment here, just to process all the information from what we were sharing, I pulled a card, and the card for today is wind and activation. No, there is definitely not a there's no such thing as a coincidence. You know, wind is definitely what is keeping me centered these days. A lot of pranayama and breath practice that is moving all of those feelings that are in my physical space, in my emotional space, in my mental space, and really clearing and moving them out. Because when there is a breeze of air around you, you feel the energy is different versus being locked in a room where there is no air circulation. So that is exactly what the wind is reminding us today, is to move all the stagnation that we have in our physical bodies, in our emotions. And I think that wind really calls for moving out all the fear that we can have trapped into our minds, all the fear for the uncertainty of not knowing how life is going to be after May 1st, May 8th, May 18th. We all have different dates of like reopening and going back to work, and what is that going to look like for a lot of people in that right now lost their jobs, you know? So really work with the breath, work with the wind element, with the air element into your life to release a lot of those energies that are trapped into our minds, our hearts, our physical space.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's a good, uh, I think now is a good point or in time to just take a couple of deep breaths as well, just to kind of get grounded in everything we've been saying and just take a moment to slow down and integrate anything that we might have said that you're thinking about. And I think my favorite thing that you always bring up is asking yourself why you do the things you do. That's probably one of the most important questions that anybody alive could be asking themselves, because that gets down to the root of who we are for the most part. Why do we do anything that we do? So just taking a few
Yes,
deep
with
breaths.
that in,
Mm-hmm. Just taking a few deep breaths and just feeling that in.
allow your bodies to soften your face, the space between your brows, your jaw, your lips. And allow the breath to release whatever is ready to release right now. Coming back slowly into the present moment by moving fingers and toes and softly opening up your eyes if you had it closed before. And just to summarize and to close up today's podcast, we're going to talk about the things we do to honor the earth. And the same way that Mother Earth gives, what I'd like to do to give back is to recycle. And more than going crazy with sorting out the recycling, I just keep it simple in a way that anything that is glass, I keep every bottle that ever comes into this house. I just store them away and reuse them. You know, there's times that we have extra um, food, right? So it comes handy to like store food, to like do any sort of like
Mm-hmm.
pickle onions, and it's just a wonderful container. I definitely store all of my food in glass containers. There is no plastic
Yes.
in contact with the food in the refrigerator. I also make a really hard conscious decision when I go to the store and limit um, anything that it's single used, in terms of like there is no such thing as bottled waters in the house. We have, each one of us have a glass water that we refill and that we use, and we don't even purchase anything that comes, any bottled waters, because of that. Because number one, for me anyway, the water tastes like plastic. It just defeats the purpose of having something so wonderful if you're going to have it in plastic. So
Plastic.
now,
Yeah.
yeah. So just little things, you don't have to go crazy and become the recycling Nazi at home, but definitely just think of all the things that you can reuse. That is big. There is, don't throw away all the things that may have a purpose for something else. And sometimes it takes creativity. And all those little jars, I use them to make candles sometimes. I use them to store jewelry, my stones. It's just really wonderful containers sometimes. And creativity is really, it has no end. The sky is the limit. So you go for it and find ways where you can reduce, reuse, recycle. And as
Yeah, I
we were
remember
talking
you had
about all
your.
of this,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry. I
go ahead,
just
go ahead.
wanted to mention that you had in your laundry room, you had a bunch of glass containers with something in it. I think you make your own laundry detergent.
Oh, yeah, I do. I do, and I have them in the tomato sauce jars, and I have them in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, John definitely goes crazy around the house telling me, like, another jar, we're gonna go through another jar. And he's like always trying to get rid of them. But when we make like a homemade tomato sauce, or any sorts of anything, and he's looking to put away, and he's like, well, I don't know where to put it. I said, like, well, I have a jar and I have another jar. And he's like, remember why we do this? And he gets upset. But hey, it's something that it definitely comes handy. And right now, you can make so many different things with those jars. Store things, organize. I put all my I have like almonds. I have all these seeds in those glass containers. I store them. They store very nicely too. They keep really well, especially for food storage. Is like a wonderful thing to have. And even if it is like even dog food, if you have like smaller little treats that you can put for your dogs, you do that with those jars are wonderful as well. And the one thing that you were asking me to talk about was about carbon emissions. And, we were sharing that concept that a lot of people that are concerned or worry about the earth are sometimes people that fly a lot. And I was telling Daniela that I'm not crazy about going to airports and flying because, I just really don't like the experience. And I really think, and I told John after this whole quarantine time is over, I said, like, now more than ever, I am not going anywhere unless it's absolutely necessary. And I'm saying for me, what is absolutely necessary is to be with my family and to be at home. So my trips to Peru are definitely justified. And I know there are websites that you can find out what is your carbon emission if you fly from Newark Airport to LAX, so that you can contribute and plant a tree that may help you offset your carbon emissions. So that is a very interesting concept and is something that I want to bring more awareness so that people can start thinking on the effects of your leisure, your travels, and how is it that is affecting the earth. And the other thing was to really think, why is it that you need to go to Hawaii? Why is it that you need to go to Egypt or whatever else you choose to go to? If it is for the picture, I have news for you, and it's called Photoshop. You can definitely put whatever background behind you. And probably even better if you do it at home than actually traveling and doing all of that. So if you do it for the pictures, just invest in a good app where you can do your own pictures and be happy with it. If you do it for the experience because you're looking to connect and you're looking to get something of value for you, not because somebody is going to look at the picture, because that is the tendency of doing things because of our external world, right? We want to look good. We want to
Hmm.
show that we can buy that or we can have it or we can recreate the experience for us because we are so special, right? So, really coming back to the space of saying, how is it that I can honor the earth when you're doing all of the activities that you do in your day to day life? So, that's all I have for that. Daniela, what do you have?
Well, yeah, I mean, touching back on the recycling aspect, a lot of people do use water bottles, and that's their main source of drinking water, which is unfortunate because not only is that a huge contributor to pollution on Earth, because the bottle has to be made using petroleum products, but also because when you're drinking that water, it is filled with microplastics. So you're also ingesting plastic, even if they are quote unquote BPA free. It doesn't matter. It does The water does get contaminated with plastic. So I know that it's really important to not just talk about the problems that we have on Earth, which are many, but the solutions, because I think to every problem there is always going to be a solution. So right now, a small thing everybody could do, which not isn't necessarily a small step, but it's a step in the right direction, would be to get a filter. And filters are also not all created equal. And you could spend hours and hours
Mm,
and hours a day looking for information to see what filter would be best. And that all depends on your price range, of course. But
hmm
I will recommend a specific filter which can be used in survival situations. Just
I
because it
think I
is,
know which one it is.
yeah, I brought it to your house. But it's called a Berkey
I know.
filter. Yeah, you can actually collect pond water or lake water or dirty water and filter it through these filters. And it uses a gravity method that takes it from the top portion and filters it down through the bottom. So that's like something to look into. You could also, filter all of the house in your water if you have the money for it. But it's good to just think about these things because in the event that you're able to make a change, you'll have some ideas already planted in your mind about what options are available. And another solution is actually It's actually been created by Mother Earth herself, which is really amazing. But I think I shared this picture with you about a mushroom that eats plastic,
Mm-hmm.
which is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's called, well, there's no way in hell I can actually say what the what the mushroom is called, but how do you even say this? That's unbelievable. I don't know, but it is capable of eating
Oh.
plastic.
Mm-hmm.
It contains a chemical that breaks down polyurethane, the key ingredient in plastic, enters it into organic matter, and it could potentially clean up all the landfills all over the world, which is amazing because I've always been of that mindset to that it doesn't matter how big a problem there is in the world, whatever problem it may be, we created the problem so we can create the solutions. And in this case, the earth created the solution for us. So there's always a way. I think we all need to have more faith and hope that everything is going to turn out okay and that the earth knows exactly what it's doing and that we aren't doomed. That although everything kind of seems a little bit scary right now, people are obviously feeling way more anxious at this moment in time in
Mm-hmm.
history,
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
everything is going to be okay. And I hope everybody can maybe learn something from what we said or shared and take it within their hearts to kind of expand that little piece of hope still left in all of us. So I think that's somewhere we can leave the podcast for today, if that's all right with you.
Yes, but I wanted to make the attempt to pronounce this mushroom. It's called
Okay.
Pestalotipsis. Pestalotypsis microspora. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful gift that Mother Earth says, people, I'm just done with you. You guys are not gonna stop with the plastic, so I'm gonna start eating it. So it's just
Yeah.
Mother Earth and her sense of humor giving us the finger saying, okay, I can't get you guys to stop, so I'm just gonna do it myself. And it's just the wisdom of Mother Earth, and we are grateful for it. We're grateful for the darkness in our lives that is just really helping us connect even deeper and deeper with that light within all of
Hmm.
us. So the darker the day looks like, it's because it's about time for dawn, right? It's time for the
Yes.
light to show up in our lives, and hold on to the moment. Do not despair. Find a friend, find a support group, find an essential oil, find something that help you stay grounded and get through those moments. I'm thankful for my friendship with Daniela, so that I have somebody that can relate to all the craziness that I say and understand the darkness I go through and the issues that sometimes come up in my life. I'm grateful to all of you listening to our sometimes vulnerable topics. We're saying a lot of things that are very personal to us, and I appreciate the space for sharing, and I appreciate each one of you. So enjoy your Arts Day. Thank you, everybody. Peace profound.
Yes. Happy Earth Day. Peace, everyone.